Ed Davey, through this campaign, people will have noticed you on water slides and paddle boards. Today's the serious bit. Can you just give us the 30-second doorstep pitch for the manifesto?
Well, this election is a chance to get the change our country desperately needs, particularly in health and care. We want to save our NHS, but we also want to help people with the cost of living long term. That's why we're talking about insulating people's homes, getting free school meals, particularly from children from poor backgrounds. And we want to tackle long-term problems like the sewage scandal. And we ultimately want to change our politics for good by reforming our political system. These are the sorts of things we get real change.
114 pages in this manifesto. Ed Davey, I put it to you, over the next 5 years, none of this is actually going to happen.
I would disagree with you. I can give you many examples of Liberal Democrat manifestos where other parties didn't have those policies, but we changed them in the next Parliament. I'll give you back to 1997. Labour said they were against an independent central bank. Liberal Democrats were in favour of it. What happened? We got an independent Bank of England. Let me take you back to the last Parliament. The Tories said they were going to do something for carers, to give them a break. They didn't. It took a Liberal Democrat MP, Wendy Chamberlain, to change the law to give a break.
But you're asking for a vote for the Liberal Democrats, even though it's another party, probably Labour, that would have to decide whether or not to implement any of the ideas in these manifestos.
Well, the election campaign's still going. I'm determined that we win as many seats as possible. And the more Liberal Democrat MPs we get, not only will communities who elect a Liberal Democrat MP get a great local champion who will stand up for them powerfully at Westminster, but we'll have many more Liberal Democrats to make the arguments for our causes. And wouldn't it be good, Sam, if in the next Parliament we had proper debate rather than this nonsense we've seen with the Conservatives fighting each other? We need a mature, grown-up politics which puts the interests of the British people first, whether it's on the health service, or whether it's on cost of living, whether it's on other issues.
OK, so your big promises today about the NHS and fixing the state that's into. But isn't that just fixing problems that were first created by the coalition government that you were part of? The knock-on effects of austerity, the knock-on effects of that big NHS reorganisation. You broke it. So why should people trust you to fix it?
I would disagree with that analysis. I think the real big problems have come under the Conservatives since 2015. I'll give you one example. It's a classic one. George Osborne cut the bursary for student nurses, and that led to a shortage of nurses. And
it was the Liberal Democrats that gave the green light.
He did that. Sorry, he did that in 2016.
No, but I'm talking about the big reorganisation in the NHS happened with Liberal Democrat approval. Nick Clegg was leader in the coalition years. So there is responsibility for the Lib Dems for the state of the NHS right now.
Well, I think the Conservatives have been in power for the last 9 years.
You can't delete your period in power.
Let me talk about that. We passed the 2014 Care Act. If the 2014 Care Act had been put in place, if the Tories hadn't broken their promises on that, having voted with it, 1 million people would be getting care now who aren't getting care. Elderly people, disabled people. So we put forward, when we had a chance, really fantastic ideas and put them into law to reform our care system to help people. And then the Tories tore that up. That was a disgrace.
But because promises in election campaigns can be broken, look at student fees in 2010, you have to look at the record. You were a minister in the coalition. The biggest decision of the coalition was those spending plans in 2010. You went along with them. Do you accept now that was one of the biggest misjudgments of your career?
Look, I fought the Conservatives every day. I fought them before I got elected. I fought them during that period. And what I can tell you is I'm really proud of the many achievements that we made.
Despite were those spending plans a mistake in 2010?
What I'm really proud of is, for example, the fact we nearly quadrupled renewable power.
Were the spending plans a mistake in 2010? The spending squeezes that defined the coalition government, were they a mistake or not?
Well, interesting, with renewable power, we got more investment and more spending into our economy against the Conservative opposition.
And you must have a view about whether or not those spending plans from 2010, which had a massive impact on public services, including health, were the right decision or wrong or not. Which is it?
Well, Sam, what I'd ask you to look at is what happened after 2015, when, for example...
I'm sorry, there's a very simple question about when you were in power.
This is to answer the question, you see, because what happened after 2015 were the spending cuts that we stopped. And in 2015, George Osborne put a savage cut to the poorest in our country. They cut the welfare bill by £12 billion, and we had to stop that. When the Tories were by themselves, they took an absolute axe to some of the poorest people in our country, and that was absolutely shocking. And I am really proud, Sam, that we managed to stop them for so long, and at the same time did really great work on mental health, on renewable power, on pupil premium.
No. You are refusing to say whether you still endorse the decisions that you helped made in 2010 or not.
What I'm telling you, Sam, is I fought the Conservatives every day, and in this election I've made it clear there is no way we would allow the Conservatives back into office. They are out of ideas, out of excuses, they need to be out of office. And every vote for the Liberal Democrat will be a vote for a great local champion to put forward those policies to rescue our NHS and to get the Conservatives out of government.